Okay, welcome to the Forge Coffee Break. This is the episode number 43. Welcome, and thank you for joining this time. And I see a few new names here, and thank you. Hope you enjoyed this session. And usually the Forge, this coffee break, it's a very open session, to discuss any topics, any projects that you are working with. With that, let me start with you. If you have any projects that you are working with, any questions, any interesting ideas, please open up your microphone. You can also open your camera. Go ahead. Anything going on? So what is going on from our side then?
I don't think people have their coffee.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, right?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
Moses.
Hey. So I don't have a project right now, but it's more so of a challenge that I'm experiencing in terms of file types that can be processed by different Forge apps. One of the things that we often deal with is integration or processing Civil 3D files. So, for example, we were using the model coordination module for clash detection in BIM 360 or Autodesk Construction Cloud. We discovered that the geometry from Civil 3D was not being recognized, and also the geometry was experiencing deformations. It wasn't being read cleanly either. It's also similar when it's linked to Revit. I actually had to take the Civil 3D file into Rhino, do some manipulations to get some surfaces and so forth, and then bring that into Navisworks to do the clash detection. For some reason, the Civil 3D geometry, I think it's maybe how they extrude pipes, how they do something about how those extrusions are created. It's not recognized in Revit or Forge apps. There's something going on there. And what we're getting into in the near future is embodied carbon. And that's kind of like a quantification of everything in your project, all of the geometric elements. And so that's going to still be a problem to quantify the Civil 3D elements. Is there anything we can do about that? Should we try to convert all of that Civil 3D to an IFC file? Yeah. Are there IFC translators? What can we do?
As I understand, the model coordination runs on the translation level, or on the translated files, not on the original file. Now, when it comes to Civil 3D, problem that often appears is that the geometry is very far from orange, right? So that's in the, so let's say instead of using near the orange, you have like very high coordinate numbers, like lat and long, for instance. And because of that, the precision point when you do the translation sometimes get a little off. So that's one thing I've seen happen a few times. That happens with DWGs, and sometimes I saw it also happen with IFC as well. Now, from what you're describing, it looks like a very specific case. If you have the sample files or something that you can share with us, so we can reproduce the problem, we can definitely investigate. But from what I'm seeing here, from what you're saying, looks very specific. Yeah, and the files will be great to help us investigate.
Unless... Okay, I will do that. I will share that with you. Is there a particular email, or just send it to you?
Forge help. Yeah, forge.help. Yes, forge.help@autodesk.com. That's the Forge support, works every time. just send there, describe as best as you can what is happening and which APIs we're using. And we're definitely going to investigate. Yeah, and if you can take a quick look, if the Civil 3D drawing is using very large coordinates, and if it's possible to move to close to orange, that may help. If not, no, still, please submit to us.
So one other scenario, we would link the Civil 3D file into a Revit file by shared coordinates, and then we would process that, publish it to ACC or BIM 360. There was still a problem with the geometry. Does that sound to you that it's a location issue, latitude, longitude, or?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking that once you import inside Revit, Revit will recreate the geometry, right, from the original drawing and using the Revit coordinate system. So if it's still happening when you do a linked file, then it doesn't look to be the same thing.
Yeah, that was our kind of go-to method, but we found that when we looked closely at that geometry, it was deformed, and I'd get messages even in Rhino saying that there's so many faces, millions of faces for this, something that should be a simple extrusion. Even those pipes had hundreds and hundreds of faces, more than we expected. And so I think that there's something about the way that Civil 3D works.
Yeah, I'm suspecting that as well. Yeah, I'm suspecting that too. Yeah, so if you can share us the instructions and some sample to reproduce it, we can definitely investigate. It shouldn't be happening, right? So let's take a closer look.
Okay.
Thank you, Moses. Yes, thank you. It's an interesting one. Okay, cool. All right, any other questions or topics?
I have another question.
Go ahead.
I noticed Kian is here, and I have a digital twin question. I forget the name of the application, the digital twin application that's available. I have a trial for it, and what I wanted to know is, when we have a client who's kind of interested in understanding the real-time status of their facilities. I want to activate the digital twin module, but it doesn't seem directly connected to our ACC BIM 360 portfolio. It seems to ask for you to, well, upload your files and then get started. I was expecting to activate it and saying, hey, here's your current in-flight projects on the hub, and just bring your projects over. That's the way some services work, but this doesn't seem to be quite a service. It seems to be a standalone application. Is that correct, or is any plans to connect them to like the data management API where you can just turn it on?
Moses, are you talking about Autodesk Tandem?
Yes, that's it.
Got it. Okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah, Autodesk Tandem. It's a new product, and it does have a base set of features, and then there's beta features. One of the features that was released was the BIM 360 import, and that connects to BIM 360. So once you log in, once you connect your BIM 360 project to Tandem, it will continue to import changes. So if you have a Revit file and you import it from BIM 360 into Tandem, then in another change to that Revit file, some things change in that Revit file, and then you pull that file into Tandem a second time, then the deltas will appear in Tandem. You can do find the history and the geometry changes and a running log of changes. So instead of doing the file upload option, there's a button that has import or connects to BIM 360. It was a beta feature, and I'm fairly certain it's now in the main. It's no longer in beta. It's an official feature. Does that help?
So yes, extremely. It sounds like this is something I won't find in the trial. I would need to pull the trigger on a seat in order to get access to that.
No, it should be available today. It might just be hidden in the user interface. I can, if you just reach out to me, and I can connect you with somebody on the Tandem team who can walk you through the process. And if for some reason there is something on your account that it's not showing up, we can make sure it is activated, because it should be available in the trial. You shouldn't have to sign up for anything yet.
Okay, we'll do. I'll work on that. Get you the information and reach out. One last question.
You wanted to know about real-time IoT stuff, right?
yeah.
That is on their roadmap. Yeah, it's on their roadmap.
Okay.
There's some internal demos showing off a lot of what you saw with Dasher 360. But yeah, that's still to be determined. But yeah, it's on the roadmap.
Yeah, it's worth watching the March Tandem webinar just to sort of see a preview of some of the work they've been doing in that area. So they already have they have shown a demo publicly where, I mean, it's not guaranteed that's how it's going to look, but they're already starting to sort of access time series data inside Tandem and display it, much as we do inside Dasher. So there's definitely some progress being made.
Gotcha. Thanks a lot.
We are just moving to another question. Moses, is there anything else? Any other?
Oh, just so kind of a step before the IoT with Tandem, we're also, as I said, mentioned dealing with kind of embodied carbon calculations, which is kind of I was hoping that with Tandem, if it can update the deltas, can it give us an opportunity to perhaps type in some embodied carbon calculations to say, okay, you have 12 columns, they're all concrete, this is the volume of that, and now here's the formula to automatically calculate the embodied carbon. Like, of course, we would have to have access to our own, what they call the embodied carbon database of how those materials and the carbon that they have associated with them. What does carbon give you? I mean, does Tandem give you an interface where you see the inventory of your projects, and then you can say, hey, here's the current embodied carbon of your projects? That's what the client is asking for. They want to have what they call, quote unquote, real-time understanding. But if Tandem is getting the deltas as we do conceptual, milestone, boom, here's the embodied carbon, and going through the phases.
Yeah, it's interesting that this embodied carbon
I can answer that. By the way, Augusto. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, really quickly. That will be possible through the Tandem API. So being able to trigger on an event, so something changes in the system from, say, a Revit import, or maybe it's a change to the actual Tandem database data, say an inventory list, gets a new item. The Tandem API would allow you to query that inventory, calculate some new value, and then save that back into the Tandem database as part of reporting. So Tandem API has the ability to do that sort of fine-grained calculations, and then Tandem database has the ability to write changes to it.
And just to
Okay.
be very
Also on the
precise,
roadmap.
Tandem is still that there is no public beta, right? A public API, right, Michael?
Not available yet. No.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
So this is
planned.
this is on a roadmap in the future.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
it's
good to know.
It's under the roadmap section on the Tandem webpage, and they're slowly releasing these beta features. And I can't say when the Tandem API will become available at this point, but it will be that exact situation you're talking about will be. So it's one of the things they would like to do as part of the Tandem API. Yeah.
And inside research, we've been using EC3 for this kind of thing, where we want to, pull the data across on, embodied carbon, particularly in the context of construction. But yeah, so that may be a tool that's worth looking at.
Yes.
If you haven't already.
I'm looking at the EC3 plus BIM 360 tool in the App Store, and Augusto sent me the proof of concept on GitHub, if I'm understanding that correctly or describing it correctly.
Yes. So when that integration was first, so we worked with Building Connected, that's the name, a long time ago before they created the app, and we helped them with a quick POC, proof of concept, to demonstrate the idea. Actually, the sample is now part of our collection of samples, explaining how to extract some of the information, which is basically what we do in most of our samples. And yeah, that's available there.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Moses. Very interesting topic. Any other questions? Let me just, while you think about it, just something that is on our blog now, and it's quite interesting, is that we are planning data days coming later now in May, June timeframe. So hopefully now that COVID restrictions are easing, and we are planning on-site events, yay, for the first time in like a couple of years. And that will be in Europe, Americas, and some data in some places in Asia as well. And that will be to discuss where we are heading with data APIs, and will be called Forge Data Day. So if you take a look at this page, I believe the registration is coming soon. It's just an interesting topic, like I shared that with you. Very good news, I think. Having some FaceTime with everyone that is using Forge. With very exciting. Now, let me go back to you. Any other topics or questions?
Yeah, tell us more about the face-to-face in all of these locations.
Yeah, so
sounds great.
Yeah, so we are planning to have. So if you remember your past life before the pandemic, we used to have this yearly event, right, where we try to meet everyone. Used to be, so a long time ago, used to be Dev Days across Asia, Europe, and Americas. Now we are rebranding to Data Days, and we are planning to start in Europe, then Americas, and late in the year in Asia. On each of those sites, we'll have, in each of those locations, we have this one day-long presentations and topics and sessions. And the idea is to discuss what we presented last year as Forge Data, or now I think the name we added on the roadmap is Data Exchange. And we're going to present what is that, how the APIs work, how you can hook your application or process into that. And the events, so the dates are here if you are interested. And I think it's interesting to have different locations in Europe, in the Americas. It used to be only Las Vegas, but now we have in different places. I think that's most of what I know so far. I'm still learning that as well. We also have AU coming late September. And if you want to apply for submit a class that ends April 15th. the call for proposals, and the AU will be in New Orleans Ernest Memorial Convention Center. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can all watch this one.
Also mentioned the call for proposals. It's open, so if you guys have any good idea that you want to submit to a class and so on, one of the benefits of that is that you get a ticket to go to AU. So definitely something good to consider. I don't know, it's gonna be nice to just go back into some sort of normality.
We're all looking forward to it, right, Jaime?
Yeah. Oh yes. It's not that I don't like to see your faces on a camera, but it's okay.
I like how you guys are so understated. It's like we're really nervous about talking about it, just in case it doesn't happen. It's too funny.
Oh, fingers crossed, Michael. Come on.
I know. Well,
positive.
I mean, this is like really, super exciting news. We're actually
it is. No, I agree. It is exciting news. It's just that
I think we're just cautious.
Life has hit us quite good on the last couple of years. So I'm just like, we'll see.
Totally. I noticed GDC is happening in Moscone Center this week in San Francisco.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
nice.
it's all these conferences are coming back. It's just
I saw a meme the other day that nature is healing in San Francisco, so everyone's getting back to the place.
The flip flops and all the swag T-shirts are out.
Yeah, it's time.
Hey, so does that mean we can wear our shorts when we go to the office in San Francisco, Augusto?
I don't know. Do you wear them?
You never did.
No, I've never done that. No.
Okay. I think downtown at San Francisco it's way too cold for that.
I was gonna say it's too cold, but I just wanted to know.
Yeah, that's a San Rafael thing, I think.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. Or Boston in summer. Yeah.
Rub it in.
I think there is just one more virtual event yet happening, right? The training that is coming in when is that?
Last
end
week
of April.
Yeah. Boot camp. Yeah. Peter Bros. I think Peter's on the call, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Tell us about it, Peter.
So for those of you who are not familiar with this event, we call it Online Bootcamp. We run this event usually 2 times a year, and it's basically an opportunity for those of you for people who are interested in the Forge platform and who maybe prefer a bit more guided learning approach. It's basically a week-long event where you can join us and you can basically watch us live code through a specific set of tutorials, Forge tutorials, and you follow our steps, and we take breaks where you have some time to grab some snack or ask questions if you get stuck on anything, right? So it's basically, instead of letting you just go through the tutorials by yourself and potentially getting stuck somewhere, we guide you through those tutorials and we answer your questions so that we unblock you if you run into any problem. And every day is dedicated to a different topic. And at the end of the day, you'll have a working Forge application that will do something. It won't be the most complex application, but it will be a working application that you can then use maybe as a starting point to start, adding additional, to start building on top of and adding your value to that, basic app setup.
So it's very basic, but it's for most of us here, I believe it's already something that you already did. But maybe that's something for get someone else on your team to onboard with Forge, or maybe a manager or someone that is just working with the product, so they can get the first exposure, right?
Right.
Hey,
right.
Peter, do I have to be a web developer to come along to this?
Well, we do expect some basic basic understanding, some basic experience with web development. Nothing super advanced. I think we also use this time to dive deeper into certain details of some of the aspects of the Forge development as we encounter those. But I don't think, again, like some very basic understanding of web development is sufficient. And if you maybe are not familiar with these technologies, but you're still interested in maybe giving this a try, at the end of this blog post, we include a couple of links to some learning resources where you can, just again, to get some basic understanding of what HTML and CSS is, right? And how to write basic JavaScript client-side code and maybe implement a RESTful server. That's pretty much the starting point for Forge development. So if you're very new to this web development world and you're still interested in joining us, you could try these quick resources just to get a very basic understanding of these, and then you should be good to go. And one thing I also wanted to mention is we're running this event in two geos, in EMEA and in Americas. They will always be starting either at 8 a.m. of GMT for the European audience, or for the audience around the GMT time zone, and it'll be starting at 8 a.m. Pacific time for the Americas audience. And we also, with the only exception being Wednesday, we'll be providing these webinars for two different programming languages, for Node.js and .NET. And I see Moses, you have a question?
Yes, Peter. So I registered for this, and I chose .NET, but I have some clarification that I need, because whenever I see those two choices, Node.js for .NET, I always think, oh, .NET, that means it's desktop development, but that's not exactly true, right? You can do the .NET server development for the cloud, right? Or you have to with Forge, right?
Well, you don't have to per se, but yes, these two separate tracks will be basically one for Node.js and one for, I guess, if we wanted to be more specific, that would be ASP.NET.
Yes. ASP. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you're just doing it. All right, got it. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just a funny joke that Peter is now, he was always a Node.js guy, and now he's learning .NET to work on some of those tutorials. I told him that by the end of this process, he will be a .NET fan as well.
We'll see.
Let's see.
I do like the Microsoft technology of, like, when it comes to development. I'm a really big fan of Visual Studio Code, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, you're almost there. You're almost there, Peter. Almost.
Don't do it, Peter. Don't do it. It's like losing a friend from tennis to pickleball. Don't do it.
What? So that's kind of my question. What are the advantages, disadvantages of either route when it relates to Forge? Because on the one hand, I feel like the Microsoft world is so very well documented.
Yeah. Okay. Can I try a take on this? For most of the web development in general, .NET or Node or Java, they will all do the trick. The detail is that if you have all the Microsoft stack on your company, .NET works better because you have most of the Microsoft technology there, right? But Node is very good with open source because there is thousands and thousands of packages on NPM. So there are small details, but when it comes to the language itself, it's very similar and equally powerful. On the Forge side, it's equally powerful. But there are always personal preferences and company preferences to use this or that. But I'll let others also chime in.
Oh, this is going to start a flame war.
Yeah,
So now
exactly.
you heard the opinion of Augusto, who's a fan of .NET. No, I think I see it. The way I see it is, yeah, with ASP.NET or .NET, you get this, I guess, reliability of a robust, like a company who's really experienced with building these robust, development stacks and platforms, because they've been in the field for a long time, right? At the same time, I've always been on the Node.js side more for different reasons. One of them was first that, before .NET Core and now .NET 6, that this was, really a really cross-platform solution. It was really simple to write, server type of application. Now you can actually see that trend in ASP.NET, right? So as I've been working on the new tutorials, I can actually see Microsoft sort of chasing that Node.js experience, right? So initially, if you wanted to write an ASP.NET application, there would be quite a lot of boilerplate, right? You just to get the basic server set up, you would need to just do a lot of stuff. It felt, at least for someone coming from the Node.js world. But now with the newer versions of .NET, and the ones I've been using when writing my tutorials, those are using .NET 6. They're really trying to chase that, both like the Node.js simplicity in terms of like, setting up a basic server, as well as I feel like even the actual language, right? Like C# is trying to sort of follow JavaScript in terms of simplicity, right? With all these new constructs, language constructs that they're adding, where, it's kind of like, I have many friends who work purely with .NET and C#, and they're kind of like seeing that their language is becoming JavaScript, basically. With every new release of C#, they're getting closer to writing JavaScript. And it's another benefit, right, of Node.js, where if you are somewhat, familiar, if you invest some time into getting familiar with JavaScript language, you can then use it both on the client side and on the server side as well.
And
yeah.
Sorry, just because we are a bit over time, in the last comments to close out. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You just wanted me to stop because I was saying all these benefits of Node.js. I understand.
No, yeah, also that. Yeah, that's also true.
I have more.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Hey, got a bit late, just so we don't forget. We have an accelerator in 2 weeks. Not sure if you spoke about it.
I did not.
You want to work
Good point.
with us.
Let me just open it up here. Thank you. Which one is it?
There's 4 spots left.
How do you say it?
Manpupuner.
Manpupuner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's 4 spots. There's 4 spots left, guys. So jump in quickly.
Yeah.
Yes. This is gonna be a busy one. Like all of a sudden, it's like boom.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of advertisement for it. Good. Okay, yes. Thank you. And as usual, the next coffee break will be happening in 2 weeks. Same link, same time. Will be same link, same time, April 6th. And see you in 2 weeks. Thank you very much for joining today. Hope you enjoyed. It was a very nice conversation today. I did paste all the links on the chat window. I will share the recording on YouTube and Twitter as usual with the links. And thank you. See you in 2 weeks.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all. Bye.